Hi, this is Owen Thornton, and this is my vblog, which corresponds with my web blog at ontariocrafts.wordpress.com. Before I go any further, don't forget that just below the level of the screen, you'll see a thumbs up, and if you hit that icon, that gives me more presence on the YouTube universe and allows people to find me a little bit easier. So, we're going to talk today about Ontario wine and about where you can purchase 4 classes of wine. The first 3 you're going to find in your area local store of beer, wine, and spirits. The first class we're going to talk about is international domestic blends. International domestic blends are wines that are made by vintners here in the province of Ontario, but the grapes can come from anywhere: Upper New York State, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even as far away as South Africa. Grapes are transported here, turned into wine, and international domestic blends, because the wine or the grapes come from anywhere in the world, are usually less expensive. The second class you're going to see are VQA wines. VQA wines, of course, red, white, and rosés, stands for Vintners Quality Alliance. VQA wines are a little bit more expensive traditionally, as the number or the amount of grapes grown are usually reduced. And the reason why is because VQA, one of the regulations is that the wine is grown on the property or properties of the vintner. So they're not brought in from anywhere else, and you can be guaranteed that the grapes are actually coming from Ontario. So therefore, they're a little bit smaller in lot and a little bit more expensive. The next class is sort of a split class. We're talking vintages here. A true vintage can be a limited amount purchased for the province of Ontario and distributed amongst their retailers across the province. And when that limited amount of wine is gone, it is gone. True vintage. A vintage essential is wine of that class, but enough grapes are actually grown to allow it to be sustained across the system for anybody who wants to carry that grape for the entire year. You will see some Ontario grapes, Ontario wines, in the vintage essential section of your vintages section. These will always be VQA wines. VQA wines, Vintners Quality Alliance wines, meaning that the grapes have come from Ontario and that they're of a higher class than the general VQA list, and they're placed in the vintage essentials section. But the last class, and this is the one that makes the big leap. I wonder sometimes whether or not the international domestic blends and the VQA and the vintage essentials, wines that are there all year long, across the province of Ontario for the entire year and can be purchased anywhere, I wonder if they actually lead you to believe that there are small batch wines at each vintage, at each vintner, that is exclusive only to them. And these are the wines that I drink. These are the wines that I taste. These are the wines that principally I'm talking to you about when I evaluate a winery when I'm on my web blog. So when you actually go to a vintner's location, you ask for wines that are not in the system across the province of Ontario that sells beer, wine, and spirits. This is where you're going to find world-class wines in small batches, special things that you will not find anywhere else in the world. The only other place you may find some of these wines is in local area restaurants. The vintner may actually have a sales rep that goes around to the local area restaurants and sees whether or not those restaurants want to buy direct from the winery. And then they would ship them, the winery would ship them direct to the restaurant. But that's a hit and miss proposition for you as a wine drinker, a wine taster. And you wouldn't be able to buy a complete bottle from most restaurants of those kind of specialized vintages. These again would be Vintners Quality Alliance grapes, and in many cases you're talking, I would assume, around the 1,000 case mark, sometimes plus a little bit of the 1,000 units, and in many cases smaller. These are small batch wines that are exclusive, as I said, exclusive to the vintner, where you will never find them anywhere else in the world. And that's what makes Ontario wines so phenomenal. You get a little bit of a taste of the quality of the vintner and the winemaker from the international domestic blends and the VQA and the VQA essentials. But you get the true taste of the earth of Ontario from the actual winemaker themselves. So I encourage you to go there, have a great glass of wine, have a flight, bring some home, and we and you and I can share in that experience. As I talk to you about tasting them, you can taste them as well, and you can enjoy, and you can love great Ontario wines. Thanks very much. This is Owen Thornton for Vintner's Quality Alliance, for the general retailer of beer, wine, and spirits across the province of Ontario, and for all people who like to have great tastes. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.